What's up, and welcome to a Monday edition of the YSN Power Hour. Just as Billy Mack would say, a tripod today. It's me, DJ Oakley, of course, with Billy Mack and Eric Bailey. We call him EB affectionately. Gentlemen, welcome to a Monday edition. How was your weekend?
Oh, good. Until Paige tried to jinx my Browns.
Oh, Paige, you say, trying to jinx your Browns.
He did.
He has a really upset face to start today's show. I'm interesting. And you've already called him out. This is all your fault, Paige.
Yep.
And then he says, I feel the same. So, Billy, do you want to take us through kind of the situation? Actually, hold on to that right now, because there's something we got to get out here, because it is National Thesaurus Day. And we're going to do something a little bit more fun for everybody at home. Our favorite wordsmith, Jeff Bezos. I want you to deliver in your best Jeff Bezos impression, your favorite Jeff Bezos created word in a sentence. Okay, so we saw the best of Bezos not too long ago, created by Kerry Munson. Interested to hear your favorite version of a Jeff Bezos wordsmith created right here on National Thesaurus Day. Billy, it's your A-team partner. We'll start with you.
I have the experience of names that he just creates out of thin air. He said something the other night. It was Bartholomew, and the last name he's like Bartholomew. And it was nowhere near that. And it was Jordan. He was calling Jebba. I'm like, that's Jordan. But I mean, he's definitely. We have such a great time that we try to flip it into an entertaining aspect. I think we do a pretty fair job with it. So
I would say so. Yeah.
I can just see him pronouncing thesaurus like thesaurus.
Do you think that there's a chance that if he saw it in a book, he would think that a thesaurus was a dinosaur?
Yeah, probably.
Do you think if we asked Jeff to draw a thesaurus, that he would draw a dinosaur?
You have the Brachiosaurus, the Megasaurus, the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and they're all a family of thesaurus.
Yeah.
Oh man! All right, EB, what's your favorite Jeff Bezos wordsmith created word?
Grower, GROW. No, U. WUWLR.
I didn't think he made it that far. I thought he made it like 2 letters, and he's like, I don't know.
I think he got to GRO maybe.
My favorite, tragical, because he tried to like convince himself that it was a word after he had an idea that it wasn't, and he's like, tragical. It's just tragical, and I was like, I don't think it's tragic. It just stops with the C. You don't need the AL onto it. Of course, AL is what we would add to it as normal people that can read and write, but Jeff, there might be a UL or EL or something along with it. So
but it's magic. It's magical and tragic together. See?
Yeah, and Heinz is a close second. When he threw Heinz instead of Hanes for his favorite underwear, yeah, because he said it so convincingly, right? Like, I'm a big Heinz guy for underwear. Heinz like the ketchup, and then he started to do like the thinking. The thought
no.
So happy National Thesaurus Day to everybody. Again, I'm trying to battle this the last day of quarantine here in the Oakley household, so stick with me. We're going to talk about some tough stuff today. I know the Browns fans out there probably not tuning in today. And I saw Paige was here. Aaron's here. Speaking of here, there's Ty Bartell making an appearance. After a big time weekend for Ty, running 3 games. Saturday?
Yeah, triple header. We were out at Cheney in the morning, made a quick stop at Austintown Fitch, and finished up in Jackson Milton to see a 42-point performance by Portalease.
Wow, that kid is a stud, and he deserves every bit of it. As he is I don't want to say he's been in the shadows, but when you have a player like Zach Brazil, I think everybody just kind of thought McDonald didn't have anything left, and here they are, undefeated, running through people like it's a waterfall, like barely people able to contain him, other teams able to contain. And congratulations to Coach Francis Jelly and the entire McDonald team out there, because they are doing some big things out there in MCD. So, Ty, we're about ready to start the show with our topics, and it starts like this. Cleveland falls short. Is it a good season or a missed opportunity, or is it a little bit of both? So being that you're the first guy on, you didn't get through the Jeff Bezos experience. Where do you stand on Cleveland's season this year, Ty?
Well, kind of being in the middle of it and just kind of being unbiased and watching the game yesterday, I kind of feel like it's a little bit of both. I mean, it is a good season for the Browns. I feel to get back on track, get kind of that winning culture, trying to establish that for Coach Stefanski, and just having that playoff experience for Baker and for a lot of these guys on the staff that are going to remain on the staff, presumably for next year too, especially on offense. But I do think it's a missed opportunity, and yeah, there was that helmet-to-helmet contact play, that no call when Higgins was diving for the end zone that probably should have been called. But Cleveland, they need to shore up things on defense, maybe a couple pieces. Definitely, I would think get a new defensive coordinator. But as far as like the game yesterday, you had backup quarterback Henne in. He throws that pick. I'm not even talking about when he ran for 13 yards and got that first down. That shouldn't have happened on defense. You should have been able to get the ball back. But when you get that interception in the end zone from Henne and you have the ball, you need to be able to drive and take the lead. And that's where I think it's a missed opportunity. It was right there in front of you to go out there and win that game, send yourself to the AFC Championship. Is it a building block for the future for Cleveland, though? Yeah, I think so. And I think this is a team that's going to be around and competing for the next few years. But I do think it's also a missed opportunity.
Interesting that, number one, you tried to class up Chad Henne in his last name by calling him Henne, like he's French or something. I appreciate that. But no amount of accent aigus in the French world is ever going to class up Chad Henne. I think there was an overwhelming, and you could almost feel it here in the Buckeye State. Everybody at the same time went, oh my goodness, who is the backup for Kansas City? And then Chad Henne proudly is chucking the ball on the sideline, and I'm thinking to myself, that it's over. Chad Henne has never defeated anything remotely in the state of Ohio or from the state of Ohio, and naturally, he's your backup quarterback to one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. That being said, I felt like the Browns played that stupid prevent that they played against the Steelers the rest of the way instead of going right at Chad Henne. Billy, did you feel the same way? Did you feel like they were not lackadaisical, but they kept giving rope to a veteran backup quarterback who has never deserved to have that rope given to him?
Well, I really want to start off by saying I think Myles Garrett played like 6 plays when Chad Henne was in the game. So start with that. I mean, your best pass rusher sitting on the side of the bench. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and call out the defensive coordinator. I mean, he's missing all kinds of pieces. It is his job to kind of drum up some type of pressure. But you can only do, scheme only works when you have the personnel to do it. So we don't have any other pass rushers. And Vernon was out; he got hurt, and then other guys from that defensive line, pass rushers throughout the year, have been hurt. We don't have the corners to kind of match up down the field with really anybody outside of maybe Denzel Ward, but he ain't 5'2", so he's only 5'2", so he might be able to guard Hill a little bit, but then Hill's going to run by him. So it was just, it was a great season. It really was. For the first time as long as I can remember. I mean, I know we went to 2003, went to the playoffs, but we probably didn't belong there and we got smoked. Really the best season I can remember since, I think, 2007 with Brady Anderson. Not Brady Anderson. Derek Anderson. And all those guys, the Braylon Edwards and Kellen Winslow, since those guys offensively kind of put up some numbers. We went 10-6 that year and missed the playoffs, but that I can remember being enjoyable to watch. I mean, you think 2-3 years ago, 0-16, 1-15. I mean, we were pretty miserable on Sundays. We were looking to see. We were more into fantasy football those years than we were our own team. So it was a pretty cool thing to see. Was it a missed opportunity? Absolutely, 100% it was. Because you just never know. I mean, as Browns fans, we didn't know what it was like to be in a divisional round. So this is the first time for us, and hopefully we get to see more. But you're going to hate to think that last 2 drives really offensively, I thought maybe the moment's a little too big for Coach Stefanski. First time being here, first time with those type of responsibilities. I didn't really like the play calling. I seen a lot of 2-yard shallow crossing routes, a lot of kick downs, nothing to really kind of put out, 7 to 8 yards to kind of get that 4th down to be 4th and 3, 4th and 4. Instead, we do a little check down and get about a yard.
I do think, too, that punt, that 4th down punt to give it back to Kansas City, I felt the same way I think you felt when the Steelers punted away, DJ. It was one of those, I feel like you need to go for it at that point. You can't punt it away.
No, I don't. I disagree. Here's why I disagree. The reason I just said, because you screwed up that whole drive by not producing any type of offense there. You had 1st down to get something, didn't get anything. 2nd down is an incomplete pass, and then 3rd down it's a check down the hunt, and it's 4th and 9. You had 3 plays there to get it to 4th and 5, 4th and 4, and then you're capable of going 4th and 9 is too short. They're coming off of an interception. I'm okay with punting the ball away with it was 4:46 left in the 4th quarter. I'm okay with punting it away to a backup quarterback who hasn't had the ball but a couple drives and hasn't really produced anything. Nothing, no points. He didn't produce any points. When he came into the game, they kicked the field goal. So he hasn't produced any points. I'm okay with them punting the ball there. It's just that possession was just not offensively, was just not a good one. It's not about going for it on 4th down. It's 4th and 9. I'm not going to go do that, because if you miss, the game's over right there. You're already down. The game's over. It's going to put it to an 8-point lead. It's Johnny Ball game right there.
I'm going to address this real quick because Gary, good friend of me, good friend of mine, I should say, good friend of the show. Obviously, with the YSN hat on there, in I think that was Ann Arbor, represents our brand well. However, he is a diehard Browns fan and really, really likes to needle me about the Steelers any way he can. So, since he brought this up on the show and was nice enough to type it out and bring it into my world again, as he did yesterday, I'm going to be nice enough to educate. And I hope Browns fans are listening, because I'm going to represent Steelers Nation here. I was really, really excited for you to, all the success that you had. My team was out of it. You knocked us out of the playoffs. It happens, right? It's always one team or another. I was reading about all the pride for Cleveland yesterday. This is where I get really irritated, because you get this. It was a great season because we beat Pittsburgh twice, but missed a big opportunity. Not too many times you get to hang around against defending Super Bowl champs. You can beat Pittsburgh 3 times in a year if you really feel like it. And I get that it feels good, like it gives you the warm and fuzzies, but you don't get a trophy for it. You don't even get necessarily a hat and a shirt for it. So beating Pittsburgh does absolutely nothing other than maybe bragging rights, which is, I guess, good. But after, it's you don't get anything from it. You went this far, go get the big trophy, right? Go get the big trophy, because you're not guaranteed next year. And I think that's the difference. I'm seeing all of this. Wait till next year. How is that mentality any different for Browns fans than it has been in the last 20 years? Help me out with this, Matt, because I'm missing something.
I'll speak big picture here. So big picture, going back for years and years and years, we're the bottom barrel of the league, not just of the division. And for us to be where we want to be, you're going to have to beat Pittsburgh or at least split to be at the top of the division. So it's building blocks for me. It's a great season. Yes, we did beat Pittsburgh twice. We really split with them, in the regular season. You're going to have to win at Pittsburgh at times just to go ahead and win the division. I mean, Pittsburgh's not going to necessarily just go away. So, we want to have that same feeling that Pittsburgh fans for years have had is we're at the top of the division. And a lot of it is based on, beating your division rivals.
Okay, so let me ask you this. As a Browns fan, who is the bigger problem over the next 10 years? Is it the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Baltimore Ravens, or the Cincinnati Bengals?
I would say for me, it's a simple answer. It's the Cleveland Browns as the biggest issue. It's not it's learning how to win games. It's adapting with having a little bit of success. It's how are you going to deal with Odell coming back next year, wanting a piece of this? Some of these guys who played well, they're going to want bigger money. It's things like that I'm a little bit more worried about. But I know where you're going with this, and it's Patrick Mahomes is the issue. There
it is. So as a Steeler fan, this has been my biggest issue. This guy right here that wears this jersey right now, the old TB12, he was our bugaboo. He was Patrick Mahomes and what Patrick Mahomes will be for the next decade to the Cleveland Browns. Add to that, in your own division, you've got Lamar Jackson, who is going to present his own set of problems for the Cleveland Browns if they don't shore up that defense. My biggest thing is, great, you beat the Steelers, but you only got to the divisional round. Like, beat the Chiefs, which you almost did, which there was a lot of people that were feeling like the Chiefs were in trouble when Patrick Mahomes went down. But then you got the Bills. Like, there's a lot more talent in the AFC now than the Steelers had to deal with. And I'll be honest, I feel fortunate for that, because if there was this level of talent in the conference when the Steelers had Roethlisberger as a rookie, second year, third year, I'm not sure that the Steelers would have those.
I could argue that there was a lot of teams that were really good. You had the Chargers, who were 13-3 almost every single year. You had the Colts with Peyton Manning. You had you had the Patriots. There were some really good AFC teams.
There's three teams for the most part in the AFC the last 17, 18 years, I guess.
Yeah. And we know that the Chargers didn't present much of an issue in the postseason, but again, they're going 13-3 every single year.
But to compliment what you're saying too, DJ. Even in the division, I think Joe Burrow, and if the Bengals get some pieces around, Joe Burrow is not a guy to scoff at. In his rookie season, I got hurt, but I think he looked really good at times, and he's another guy I think that's going to be good. And you got Justin Herbert over there with the Chargers that I think is going to be really good. The AFC, like Paige said, they're loaded with a lot of young, talented quarterbacks, and I think it's just great for football in general. And you got to like the old Ric Flair saying, got to beat the best to be the best. You're going to have to go through a gauntlet almost every single
close tie. It was
to be the best, you got to beat the best. But you have to go through a gauntlet.
Try again.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man.
There it is. Woo! There it is. That's what I'm talking about. There's one guy, though, there in our group chat yesterday when we were all kind of watching on our own time and watching at our own leisure that pointed out probably the greatest jump from conference to conference because of what he saw coming up at the quote unquote kids table was Tom Brady. And that's why he's at where he's at right now. You talk about the great game, and we'll discuss that in a little bit, but did Tom Brady, EB, you were the guy that called this out in our group chat. Did Tom Brady see this coming once again? Was he 2 steps ahead of everybody else on this?
Absolutely, man. He's a smart dude. He understood it's going to be Pat Mahomes' league. You still have Josh Allen. Lamar is going to do Lamar things. He's probably a wide receiver or 2 away from anything. And, even watching the Browns this year, I think if you're a Browns fan, and I'm not a Browns fan, but was it a good season? Yeah, but it was more so of a maturing season for you guys. You guys really matured and grew up before everyone's eyes. And I didn't hear anyone say that, but if you're Tom Brady, you go to the NFC, who do you have to compete with? Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers. That's all there is. Now he probably feels he has a better shot against Aaron Rodgers than Pat Mahomes.
I'd put Russell Wilson in that too over there.
No defense.
True that.
I
There is
mean,
no defense, right?
you can throw Russell Wilson in there, but the Rams said, okay, we'll throw Russell Wilson in there too. I mean, that's just how I saw it. Like, would you rather be? Yeah, you're dealing with a pissed off Aaron Rodgers, which no one wants to deal with, but he's still an aging Aaron Rodgers, and Tom Brady knows Green Bay a lot better. He can figure out Green Bay a lot better than Kansas City, because Kansas City, they aren't necessarily going to stop you. They're just going to outscore you. So I think that's my take. I think that's what Tom Brady was looking at. Like, hey, switch over NFC. It's it's a weaker conference or a weaker division. And who do you got to go through? Even if you throw Russell Wilson, who would you rather go up against? Russell Wilson, a retiring Drew Brees and an Aaron Rodgers, or Mahomes, Allen, Jackson, whoever else you want to throw?
Yeah, I'd rather be in the NFC.
Yeah, I mean, you look at all of those teams you just mentioned, the AFC. Tom Brady can't put up those kind of points. I mean, I feel bad saying that, but it's hard to put up that many points because you're expected to put up 40
Patriots team either. I mean, I don't care if you have Bill Belichick, Phil Jackson, freaking throw in Moses, Partha, do what you want to do. I mean, that's a lot of dude. That's brutal. I mean, and now you even throw in Cleveland. Like I said, Cleveland's mature, and Pittsburgh was not exactly. Pittsburgh didn't just fall off a cliff. Yeah, maybe they didn't finish like they started, but still, Pittsburgh is Pittsburgh.
They were still throwing haymakers on the way down. Here's my question for you guys, because this is going to be interesting. Do you think, given the outcome of the NFC, that Green Bay is a better fit positionally and matchup wise for Tom Brady to get to another Super Bowl than if the Rams would have won?
I like Green Bay, man. I'm not gonna go that route with you.
That's fine, but hear me out on this. I think the Rams defense was far superior than anything Tom Brady's going to see against Green Bay.
I think this is a better team, Green Bay, than when they won the Super Bowl year. So I think they're a more complete team this year. They run the football better than they did then. You remember that team when they won the Super Bowl? They started to run the football a little bit better down in the playoffs. But this team, I mean, they run the football very well. They play better defense. It's a little bit more team oriented. There's no stars, but they all play a role on that defense, and they play fairly well.
Sorry, you could go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay.
It's complex, not necessarily complete. They're what ESPN today said they motion 79% of the time. So, and they're just exploiting mismatches on corners and to where you have to make split-second reads more or less. So I just think they're more. Mac doesn't agree, but I just think they're more complex. It's and Rodgers has. Maybe Green Bay did something that we didn't think when they drafted Jordan Love. They're like, hey, we need to. This dude got too comfortable, so now we're gonna draft his replacement and see what really happens.
I didn't like that when it happened. I still don't. I mean, I guess I like it now because Aaron Rodgers is. I texted all of you guys saying, is he human? Is he real? Because he's. I mean, 37 years old. He's playing like he's 27. I mean, he's playing probably better than he was when he was 27. He was just a glorified Brett Favre when he was young, right? Now he's like a cyborg. So I'm really interested. I think that the matchup though is going to be better for Tom Brady and the Bucks than it would have been had it been the Rams. And I know Aaron Donald was hurt or I mean they couldn't figure out what was going on Fox. So I'm interested or whatever channel. I think it was Fox. So I mean, you hope he's okay because according to some people on our network, he's better than he's the greatest of all time. Even better than some linebackers at a defensive tackle.
An idiot. That dude's a jackass. Period. To sit here and say any defensive player is better than Lawrence Taylor is blasphemy. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Green or I mean, The list goes on and on, apparently.
I think the majority of people who do sport, who talk about sports, would say if we did a poll, Lawrence Taylor is up there at number one. So to sit here and say Aaron Donald, Potesta, you're a jackass, period. You've seen it. You're a jackass if you think that Aaron Donald's better than Lawrence Taylor, period.
And I mean, as much as I am a fan of good defense going into playoffs, to disagree with you a little bit on this one, DJ. I mean, yeah, you usually need a top 10 defense. A lot of teams that win a Super Bowl, their defense usually is situated in the top 10. But I mean, I'm a firm believer that going into the playoffs, you go as far as your quarterback is going to take you. And I just don't
coming from a Patriot fan.
I just don't think the Rams with Jared Goff pose as big of a threat as Rodgers and the Packers do with Brady and the Buccaneers, because Rodgers, they got their own number 12 there in Green Bay that can sling the rock just as well as Brady can. And I mean, both old quarterbacks, but I think this matchup is going to be, I think this was the toughest team. And I think this is the team that Brady knew he'd have to go through at the end to get back to another Super Bowl.
So to your point, who won the game yesterday? Was it Tom Brady and his excellence, or was it the forced turnovers by the Buccaneers defense?
I mean, it is a little bit of both. I mean, the turnovers do help, and I do agree that defense is a big component. But you have to score the ball to be able to win football games, and I mean that's just what happens with.
On Saturday night, was it the outstanding play of Josh Allen, who I've gone on record and saying is one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL, or was it the 101-yard pick six that really sealed the deal for the Buffalo Bills?
I mean, there's examples though. Yeah, I get where you're going with this, DJ. I understand that we're big defensive plays. They're gonna happen and they're gonna win you some games. But I'm saying, going on deep playoff runs, it's dependent on the quarterback. It just
keep in mind that the Baltimore Ravens at one time had Trent Dilfer as their quarterback, and they won a Super Bowl. Trent Dilfer.
Mm-hmm. 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 I'll also give you another one. Rex Grossman took the Bears to the Super Bowl.
Oh, man, I forgot about him.
You're welcome.
Forgot about him. Ty, I'm with you. During the regular season, it's the quarterback that's going to lead the charge, that puts up 40 points, that's going to, Brady tosses 4 touchdowns and a half and gets to rest the entire second half. In the playoffs, you're not likely to see those just shootouts, that we see for 17 weeks, because defense is cranked up, because you miss one assignment and somebody goes for 101 yards the other way. I mean, that's defense wins championships. It's not just a saying, it's reality. And as much as I love Tom Brady, as much as I'm a fan of his greatness, I think he would even tell you that without that defense, he might have done it on the interview last night, without his defense last night, Drew Brees is moving on and Tom Brady's contemplating retirement.
And both quarterbacks didn't even throw for 200 yards.
Each are combined.
See, I don't understand how people can sit there and say it's not all about the defense, but then when you talk about the Cleveland Browns, are like, well, if we would have had a defense, we would have been okay.
Well, there's a lot of people that look at it and say that's one of the reasons that the Browns didn't move on yesterday.
I've been saying for weeks. That's the scariest part of our team is our defense.
Realistically, I mean, Chad Henne or Henne or whoever he is, he didn't have to win the game. He didn't win the game. He just had to manage the game. He just had to manage those next 2 quarters, and they were fine.
I mean, people don't give Andy Reid near enough credit for being an outstanding coach. I mean, can we all agree to that? The dude is one of the top offensive minds in the game ever.
See, I've always felt like people put Andy Reid right where he belonged until last year. I mean, he was a great offensive mind. He makes gutsy decisions when need to be. He just has never been able to win the big game until last year.
And now he might rattle off a few of them. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to retire when you have a quarterback like that, right? You can't do that.
Dude, you would have to absolutely kill me to walk away from that job. Unbelievable.
Well, cheeseburgers might catch up to him.
Well, that too. My favorite's still that one I sent to you guys about Kareem Hunt and how he was heartbroken twice because he thought Kareem Hunt was a donut and not an actual football player when they drafted him. So today's Power Hour sponsored and proudly presented by WRS Insurance Solutions, Life, Disability, Medicare, and Long-Term Care. Visit our friends at WRS Insurance Solutions, proud sponsor of your sports network. Before we go to break, everybody knows East Palestine is an interesting place. For the last 2 weeks or so, I've been down with COVID, here from the COVID cave. But on Saturday night, here in Stream City, USA, which we're so proud to represent, something happened. And I'm going to leave, or I'm going to try to leave your mics on. But I want the world to see this because this doesn't come along every day, boys. Now keep in mind, in 2020, knowing that it's 2021, in 2020, all the stuff that went weird on us, COVID, the Browns, I mean, everything's sideways. And then there's this in 2021. So if you're ready, here it is. Yep. Get a little closer because I think you want to see this. They're passing Case Cut and Corral. They caught on that there's somebody watching.
Beep, 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 beep.
We got some visitors in Stream City, USA, East Palestine, Ohio.
Take me to your leader. Take me to your leader.
Dude, they are locked on. See, there it is. Nanu. This is real, people. This actually happened. This is video from Facebook. They're passing Skirballs, which is coming soon, by the way. Those are, like, I can't even describe what we're seeing here. Because this happened in real life. Like, all jokes aside, that's creepy as hell, man. Like, I got terrible nightmares about aliens, and to see it, 4 of them. One of them was a child walking downtown. Ty, your reaction to this? And we got panda face.
I mean, I guess I don't hang around East Palestine too often, other than going to the headquarters down there. But I mean, I'm not sure if I want to go visit there anytime soon, other than just stopping by headquarters real quick.
All this means is we got to move YSN to Boardman now.
Oh, here we go.
It's got to happen. Get out of Stream City.
Panda Man, what did you think of that?
I thought it was awesome. It's such a Palestine thing to happen. Like, I don't even know. Like, there's
premeditated. Like, where do you get those foil outfits?
Well, but like, my bigger question is it was obviously a family. I'm assuming so. And like, they woke up one Saturday and they're like, screw it, let's go walk the streets. Put on the metallic silver suit, babe. Let's go.
The one had boots on, man. It was like work boots. Aliens have come here literally to work. They've got work boots on. They're ready to go. Steel-toed. Yeah, my mom's saying live long and prosper with the Vulcan side. It's only in East Palestine, ladies and gentlemen. Only in East Palestine. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some more NFL football. We'll introduce you to the games tonight on YSN. We'll talk more sports.
Right here. Lightsaber. Aliens are here. Lightsaber.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms, it just tastes better.
Welcome back to the YSN Power Hour. I heard the lightsaber call on the way out, so I had to get the old stormtrooper helmet. Like, you're ready to go, Mac.
Have you watched The Mandalorian?
I have. I grew up. I was a Star Wars kid and a Star Trek kid because of my dad. Dude, I can't get enough of the Star Wars stuff. You know what else I can't get enough of right now? All of the Marvel stuff. I could watch it all right now in just continuous loop. Like, it's good. I haven't checked out this WandaVision thing yet. I'm gonna wait a little bit.
Yeah, that is really good.
I just don't. The commercials don't explain it well, and I'm a little bit confused. So
they said it's weird. That's about it. Like, I have some buddies that said they've watched the first 2 episodes, and they said it's different and weird, but it's good.
Okay. Chris Sigler, who also lives in East Palestine, by the way, says, honestly, the stuff I see there on the sidewalks, I might not even blink at that. My question for that entire video, nobody slowed down. Like, nobody even batted an eye at 4 aliens walking up the sidewalk. Is that what East Palestine has become? Is that what our society has become?
They should have been arrested. They probably didn't even have a permit.
Permit for what?
Being alien.
Illegal aliens.
Right.
From space, not even from this country, not even from the planet.
Put them in jail.
If you saw 4 people in alien costumes anywhere in the world, you're telling me you just keep on walking?
I mean, if I was in East Palestine, probably. But
there's a girl, a young lady, who walked right past them. Like, same sidewalk, walked right past, didn't even slow down, and the aliens just kind of looked at her. I mean, it's an all-time classic.
It's kind of like that walking in big city mentality. Either Cleveland, New York, just keep your eyes facing forward. Don't mind anybody else walking by you because it's stuff you don't want to bother with. Just keep going.
Your dad might be onto something. It's all in the company you keep, I guess. But I thought it was a clip from Nacho Libre for a second, says Paige. I've never even seen that entire movie. I know there's a lot of people that are going to be disappointed. I've never seen the entirety of Nacho Libre. But apparently I just got to walk outside in Stream City, USA in order to live it. So, we'll run it again at the end of the show, naturally, because I think you got to see it twice. I mean, for the exception of Ty, we've all seen it at least twice now. So, all right, let's talk about moving on from Cleveland a little bit. But one question I had for you, I've said Myles Garrett has been a problem with his injuries, with him being as soft as Sherman for a long time. Is anybody else buying into that now? Is anybody else buying into Myles Garrett either has a huge injury issue that has not come up on injury reports, or whatever he is? I've heard comparisons. He's softer because of COVID. You know, he's a shell of who he once was. Do you have a Myles Garrett in that situation that's 50% or less, or do you put somebody else in his place that can play at 100% for the entirety of that football game? Because I think I don't want to place the blame, and I know Coach Seidel is probably going to pop on here and say, oh, here we go with Myles Garrett again. But he is your franchise defender. And if he's only on the field for 50% of the plays, is he helping or hurting? Back, we'll start with you.
I mean, it's real simple, right? It's dollar sign. So I'm not paying a guy X amount of money to keep his ass on the sidelines. I don't care what the situation is. If he's hurt, then he's hurt and he can't play. To me, that's just, next man up mentality. So I started falling for it a little bit because, I'm sick of it already. I watched that whole game. I'm like, where the hell is Myles Garrett? They're running empty sets and he's not even in the game. Like that's your time to go out there and get some from the quarterback. And Mahomes was hobbling a little bit there at this point, and for 2 series in a row, it's like dude's off the field. Like, just not can't. If you're hurt, goodbye. That's fine. That's understandable. But I mean, that happens. But it seems like for the last 6 weeks, Myles Garrett has just been a no-show, and I've been defending him.
If going into it that he's 50, maybe 60%, do you have a heart-to-heart with him and say, Myles, we appreciate you, but we're going to keep you on the IR list, or we're going to keep you on the sidelines just because we need to put the best we can into this ballgame? I mean,
it probably depends on what exactly is the issue, right? I mean, we still don't really know if there even is an issue. They said something about he had a heating pad on his hip and his side a little bit. Whatever. I know that we have had issues about him not being able to be back to full strength since COVID. I don't know. That may be true. You're catching your breath. I don't know. I don't know the side effects of COVID. I haven't had it. So I don't know exactly. So
I think everybody's still trying to figure it out. Yeah.
Right. So I don't know what I'm capable of at that type of level either. And then going from that to maybe something different.
But if you still have, and this is what the doctors are, I guess, putting out there now, if you still feel like you have symptoms of COVID, you're not supposed to be reinserted into the general public. That's right. That's a little bit concerning because, you heard it, you saw it on Twitter yesterday, the social reaction to Patrick Mahomes being quote unquote knocked out cold, to which experts and everybody else has now come out and said that he was choked out, similar to what you see in the UFC. I listened to Ron and he was adamant that he was knocked out. His helmet never touched the ground. It never touched anything solid. It was a neck/head issue, so he's still got to go through concussion protocol. But you go through all of this with the head and neck and all these COVID and everybody's wearing a mask. If it is a COVID-related injury, don't you think that the Browns should probably have brought that back up to the league and said, hey, here's a situation where our guy's not right. Maybe we want to get him checked out, or you just keep a tight lip and see what happens?
Again, it depends on who the player is, right?
Well, I guess so. They're not doing that with Denzel Ward or I don't even know a backup defender for the Browns right now, even though, we played against their JVs apparently in Pittsburgh. I mean, Ty, from a mentality of safety first, right? That's what we're supposed to believe the NFL is all about. Should the Browns or the NFL should stepped in and said, hey, if he still has COVID-related symptoms, maybe he needs to be out.
Well, it might be that too, and even if it isn't like symptoms per se, but if like he's like short on breath, right? Right? If he's short on breath and it's because of COVID and it's like lung damage or something, like whatever, that might be something you want to get checked out, because like if he's been out of breath, what now, Billy Mack? 6 weeks, you said? He's been experiencing these where he's like not himself, right? So like if you're 6 weeks after like having it and you're still having breathing problems and you can't breathe, I'm no doctor, so I'm not going to say that it might be lung damage, but I mean, I don't know what this virus, what it's capable of doing to some and not others. I don't know the long lasting effects of some, but I mean, if this is an effect, yeah, you'd like to think that he should probably go get that checked out. And I mean, to your point too, of it, if he should be playing, I guess it's all a thing of what you think too. Do you think a 60% Myles Garrett is better than your run-of-the-mill average defensive end in the league? And do you think he's going to produce better numbers, or he's going to do better than that? I mean, that's all up to a coaching time decision. But no, I absolutely do think that if he's having trouble at least breathing right now, and this is weeks after having it, there might be a deeper issue to that I think he should get checked out, because I mean, he did not look great yesterday at all.
Well, here's our resident expert right here. I mean, this is the stamp that I need, is Mark Roth saying post-COVID-19 systemic symptoms can linger for quite some time, especially pulmonary and cardiac. So not completely up to par with what that means. I'm just a broadcast major from East Palestine, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that he probably put himself back in a situation to play because of who he was, because he was Myles Garrett, and it doesn't look good on him, or he can't control the contract moving forward, and he probably gets a little bit of heat from Browns fans if he's not in there. So I can soften the blow on him and stop calling him Charmin maybe, but I gotta admit that if there's a problem, maybe let the next guy step in, because this could have lingering effects down the road to his health, to his health, to his contract, to the way he plays, all the way down the line. Obviously, being a talk show, we have to have it both ways here, right? That's what makes good conversation. But did Myles Garrett cause more harm than good by staying in there? EB?
I mean, I'm sitting here trying to think of it from like a coaching perspective, and to I guess what Mark Ross' point, like I'm sure he felt fine through practice, because practice is super limited when you get to this point of the year, anyways, because they're not really doing. But when you get into the game and you really get, I guess, those emotions and everything flowing, I'm sure there is like, and I'm no expert by any means, but there are lingering, problems through it, especially, and as a Browns organization, I think you kind of have to be careful with that, because COVID is still it seems like it's been here forever, but COVID's still pretty new when it comes to how it's going to affect athletes. I guess I look at it from being on a high school standpoint. If a kid came into me and said, "Hey, I'm still having problems breathing," to me, that's a big ordeal.
Yep.
You definitely need oxygen to survive. So, him taking some plays off here and that, hey, I can only play 1 or 2 plays or a series here and there. I can get behind him, especially if that's a discussion that he had up front with the coaches and organization. I can stand behind him with that one. And this is someone who's not a Browns fan. There's just some stuff you don't know right now. So I'm sure eventually it'll all come out, and, people are saying he was injured, this and that. Everyone's dinged up in week 18, 19 of the NFL. But, I really don't know how you handle that, especially with the COVID situation.
I don't want to make it sound like we're laughing at Myles Garrett. It's Coach Seidel saying that he's late, and Michael Page saying take a lap to a coach. Well played, Page. You did very well on that. Threw us off our game. My mom chiming in saying there hasn't been enough research into the long-lasting effects of COVID. It will take years.
Okay. You got to be able to use those flexible ankles and get sacks, though, if you're Myles Garrett.
Yeah, he's got. We're not even going to get into
it. The funniest thing I've ever heard.
Everybody knows how I am not a huge fan of Myles Garrett from the jump, but regardless,
Is there one Browns player you like?
Baker Mayfield.
Okay.
The one that Billy hates, like the only one that Billy hates.
I like Baker Mayfield. I like the way Nick Chubb handles himself. Not a Kareem Hunt fan.
Nick Chubb just doesn't talk. He's just like mute. He's just like, ball forward.
He's a caveman. I mean, he just does his job, punches the clock, and then goes home. I mean, he's blue collar as it gets. I can get behind guys like that, but I'm a quarterback guy. I've always been a fan of the quarterback. Good, bad, and different. Baker Mayfield is, because I didn't like the way he handled himself in college necessarily, but I like his leadership ability. There was one moment during the game yesterday that I was feeling uneasy about the Browns moving on, when he was on the sideline with the mask over his face, and you could see it in his eyes. You could see it that he believed. He knew it was there. It was going to be there. I'm just a fan of leadership. I'm a fan of guys that against all odds get it done. So, Baker Mayfield.
Do not speak of that name ever again, Coach Seidel.
Hang on. Oh man. Michael Page saying, also want to point out that Romo and Nance are a curse. 0-5 with them. Can we just stop? Can we please stop blaming announcers for, first with Indians fans or the Cleveland Baseball Club, it was Joe Buck, right?
Oh yeah, no. There's a reason for Joe Buck. Come on, there's a reason for Joe Buck.
Leave it be, Billy. Leave it be. You played the Cubs to 7 games. They beat you. It has nothing to do with the announcer.
I'm not blaming anything on Joe Buck for the Cleveland's loss. That's the Cleveland.
So, and then last week it was Collinsworth, and I don't even know who was he with Al Michaels. I don't even remember because he's been going between Tirico and Al Michaels, and now it's Romo and Nance. Come on, man! Like, have you been on the C team for so long that you don't want the A team anymore? Like, do you want Ian Eagle and Dan Fouts? Is that what you want?
You know who he wants? You know who he wants? He wants Jeff Bezos and Billy Mack on the call.
Well, they don't get it. You know why? Because that contract belongs to YSN. Nick Chubb is the new Corey Kluber. I believe that is disgusting. Oh, my gosh. I love when Romo and Nance call games, for the record. It says Paige. And then we get a Joe Buck sucks.
Joe Buck sucks. That's true.
Like, here's the
breaking news: Joe Buck sucks.
As an announcer, I would always tell my guys, tell our guys, tell anybody that wants to be an announcer, if you want to know how announcing is done, go listen to a Nance and Romo. They do it absolutely perfect. That's how color and play-by-play is supposed to be synchronized and harmonized together. Romo does, obviously, a crazy, unbelievable job of knowing what's going to happen before the play starts and then knowing exactly what develops. And Nance does a great job of painting the picture, of drawing the picture up for you. Even though I'm not crazy about his style or his delivery, that's how it's supposed to be done. And I mean, it happens with every team. I see it with Steelers fans. I see it with every fan. Oh my gosh, here we go. Because every time the Steelers played the Patriots, it was, it's on CBS. We got Nance. We got, at the time I think it was Phil Simms. That was my bugaboo. I hated Phil Simms because Phil Simms just said a lot of nothing. It was absolutely gibberish. Because
that's why they got him off broadcast, and now he's doing the pregame show.
He still does a terrible job. Yeah. Like, how do you get out broadcasted by Bill Cowher? That's what I want to know. Bill Cowher can't go 6 words without spitting. And now Phil Simms' agent deserves a huge, huge raise because he's terrible. He's just a terrible broadcaster. I don't even remember him as a quarterback. I think he won what? 1 Super Bowl?
He went to 2, played Joe Montana twice. Didn't
win 1 then?
No.
Job, Phil. You're as good of a quarterback as you're a broadcaster then. Good on you. Anyone know if Buck cut the taste out of his mouth from the alone time with the Cubs yet? All right. Coach Seidel's on timeout.
Joe Buck stinks, man. There ain't nobody who can sit here and say they like Joe Buck.
I do. And I like his baseball calls better than his football calls. But Aikman carries that broadcast anyway. I think, at least. But I like Joe Buck in baseball because he can do it and not even try. And I know it's because he's a Cubs fan. Isn't he a Cardinals fan? His dad was one of the greatest announcers of all time, right? Jack Buck.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I had no issue with Jack. No issue with Jack. Joe, he's a tard.
I actually prefer Beth Mowins.
I'm a big fan of Kevin Harlan in both NBA and at NFL. I think Kevin Harlan with Trent Green in NFL is good. I really like him with Reggie Miller in NBA though. Like that for a national broadcasting.
Ty, you just got yourself fired. First off, Reggie Miller. I hate Reggie Miller.
Who was the guy with John Madden for years?
Pat Summerall.
He's at the 20, the 30, the 40. 90% of football is half mental.
I'd answer it, but I'm on timeout taking a nap. Or taking a lap. Okay. Learn how to read, Betos. If you're actually taking a lap, Coach, make sure you're like taping it because we'll run it during the Power Hour tomorrow. Beth Moen does SEC NFL games from time to time. Never mind, he says. I've never heard her do it. I mean, I don't watch a lot of college football, but I've never heard Beth Moen.
Damn sure you watch no SEC games either.
Maybe I have, but it was certainly not an SEC game. But listen, I love female announcers. Who's the female announcer that does the Sunday night baseball games? Is it Jessica or I forget what it's? She's fantastic.
Jessica Simpson.
Well, she's fantastic too.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Andrews is the GOAT. Leave it there. Just leave it alone.
Yeah, we're gonna leave that be. Usually she does the second Monday Night Football game on week 1. Well, if there's anybody that's gonna know, there's your guy, right there, the king of all things women's sports, Anthony Hartwig. I never heard her do it either because, oh man, Paige, killing me. Actually driving home from Pittsburgh, but I will absolutely go take a lap and film it. All right, there it is. Jessica Mendoza. There it was. Denise is on it too. And so is Aaron. AM is on it. All right. I like the guy that does Cavs games.
Austin Carr? That
is AC.
That has to be AC, yeah.
AC is good friends with my sister and my brother-in-law. My sister actually had a desk next to Austin Carr. Said he's one of the nicest guys ever.
Real upsetting for Cleveland fans when Fred McLeod died. I love the Fred McLeod Austin Carr. They had a dynamic with being together. I like their broadcast style a lot.
I think that takes time. Most of the time, is you build that chemistry together with each other.
Throw the hammer down from deep in the queue. That was my.
I mean, I think we've been. I feel like anyone's going to say that, and there are great announcers for local teams, but I think Pittsburgh and Cleveland have been really blessed with really good announcers. Like I know, like Vince Scully is really good for the Dodgers, but I mean Tom Hamilton for me was like the reason why I got into like announcing. I think he's one of like the greatest announcers. The fact that he could do a baseball game, he does it by himself. He keeps it entertaining, keeps it energetic. I think it's a real talent, and it's a lot harder to do than a lot of people think.
I'm in the same boat as you. I think Pittsburgh and Cleveland have some of the best announcers because they're rooted here, right? You just don't go around. Greg Brown was originally from Buffalo and made his way to Pittsburgh, but he's one of my favorite announcers. The Steelers broadcast, if you listen to it on radio, I know you guys don't, so I don't have to worry about it, but it's been really bad. The announcers, I know Tunch Ilkin's battling cancer. The mainstay, Bill Hillgrove is battling time, I think. I mean, he doesn't even know what's going on half the time. And it's unfortunate because he's one of the best to ever do it. So unfortunate, but at the same time, Billy Mack is not impressed at all.
Pass that torch, my guy. Pass that torch.
It's tough, man. It's not like he's got $1 million just waiting for him at home. I mean, he's still a radio announcer. He's probably got a nice contract, makes a nice living. But, it's one of those things that you never think your time is up, right? No, you want to go out on your own cognition and your own say. So we'll see. But I don't even know how he got spun into that. But yeah, announcers. Hopefully people don't talk about this. We're not on this subject one day. People.
Oh, we're talking about this because Joe Buck sucks. As an announcer, I'm saying Joe Buck sucks.
All right, let's get to the G. Burby Farm filet or beef. Filet is your highlight of the day, your beef. If you want to put somebody or something on blast, and of course, it's brought to us by G. Burbick Farms. Visit them on the web, gburbickfarms.com, or visit them at their actual location in Columbiana on New Buffalo Road. And again, gburbickfarms.com. And Paige is still chiming in. He likes Joe Tess. Don't know what that means. All right, Mac, you're up. Give us filet or beef.
I got a beef, and
Joe Buck is your beef.
It's not Joe Buck. It's not Joe Buck. It is. I do like Gus Johnson too. Gus Johnson's dope. My beef is with Johnny Manziel. I'm just not sure why you need to go on Twitter and throw shade and excitement about the Browns losing. You're probably the worst quarterback that's come through with the biggest hype. So pump your brakes a little bit. It seemed like everybody was attacking you and you couldn't handle it. And then your response was, I don't really care. I'm just petty. No, you don't really care. And no, you don't. It just doesn't matter to you because you're just a piece of trash. So you blew your opportunity in the NFL. There's no doubt that you wake up every morning wishing that you could still be out there playing for anybody. But then again, nobody wanted you. Except for the Browns. That's why you dropped all the way to the first round at the end of the first round. And the Browns did with a Browns move, and the owner listened to a homeless guy on the street. That's how you got picked up. So chill out.
EP, what do you got?
Let's see. We'll go with a fillet. We'll go one more day, and we get to practice. Got a game coming up Saturday, so getting back to a sense of quote unquote normalcy for basketball season, but nothing as entertaining as Billy Max. But I kind of agree with him, dude. Like Johnny Mansell, I was reading some of that, and he's sitting there like talking shit to these people, like I'm in a 5-star hotel, this and that. First of all, dude, your parents are loaded, so of course you can screw the pooch on your NFL contract because we all know you blew that on who knows.
Coke.
Yeah.
Cokehead.
And now you're going to sit there and brag like, my feet are up in this 5-star hotel up in Canada, trying to talk shit to all these people. Like, dude, we get it that you're in love with being petty, but like, there's a reason you're not anywhere relevant.
Isn't he in that user-controlled league or whatever it is? That the fans get to call the plays?
Yes.
Yeah, shut up, Johnny. Like, shut up. I didn't see any of this. This is all news to me. So I've been living under a rock since.
This just happened the last 12 hours. So
this is what a douche. Ty, your turn.
To go the other way too. I mean, it's going to be a fillet with NFL. I loved the whole Drew Brees and Tom Brady kind of getting together after the game last night, and Tom throwing to Drew Brees' kids, and just two of those greats, just having that moment. And I think that whole moment of Drew Brees after the game and the look back, and we've all seen the pictures of the look back at the stadium and the field and just a city that he's kind of put on his back the last 15 plus years, and just really made a whole city and a community believe in a football team, and they love him to death down there. And it's sad to see one of the greats go, and when one of the guys, Father Time, finally catches up with them, and that whole generation and that ship is going to sail over in New Orleans. But I mean, I'm going to call it a fillet with that, just the interaction he had with Brady, and just seeing that, I thought that was really wholesome.
I did think that was who?
Go ahead. Nothing.
Who sucks?
Tom Brady.
Okay. Good on you. Your evaluation of quarterbacks continues to sizzle here on YSN. Uncle Rico. All right. Mine is not Tom Brady sucks. It, in fact, is that I think we need to start appreciating greatness better as a society. I mean, watching that moment between Brady and Brees last night, this isn't something that we get all the time. I mean, everybody trashes MJ or trashes LeBron or trashes. I mean, you can insert player here, right? Not every player needs to be the greatest of all time, but it doesn't mean we can't appreciate what they bring to the table. It's the same way with business. It's the same way with whatever. Like, we are a jealous society, and we get our rocks off of cutting people down. Billy, you talked about it the other day, the Gary Vee analogy, burning out everybody else's building down so you have the tallest building. Sometimes just appreciate greatness. Appreciate that someone put in the time, the effort, or even got a little bit lucky that they're in a position of success. Strive to be like them. Strive to be better than them. That's okay. You don't always got to tear them down. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I did not like Tom Brady as a Steelers fan because he didn't let my team get to where I wanted to go, and It was very selfish. That's what happens. But after a while, you just have to stand enamored and go, wow, this guy is something special. This is something we may never see for as long as we live. This may be something we never see ever again. I would give anything to have Michael Jordan back in the NBA right now. His caliber of talent, his character, all that stuff. But we'll never see that again. Just like we'll never see a LeBron James again. It just won't happen. So enjoy it now. Enjoy Tom Brady now. Enjoy Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers this Saturday, this Sunday, whatever it is. I think they're both Sunday, right? So enjoy it. You know, Browns fans, enjoy this ride, because as a Steelers fan, 17 years later, those franchise quarterbacks, these moments that you have, they don't last forever. Now I'm looking at, 10 years of the Steelers being absolutely terrible or mediocre at best. Just enjoy it. We need to do a better job as a society as a whole of embracing and promoting people that do well and are great in what they do. So hopefully we're not going to make a difference, but hopefully somebody sees that and goes, well, maybe Tom Brady doesn't suck, Mac.
Or they look at it and say, Mac knows what the hell he's talking about. Tom Brady is trash. And if the Seahawks ran the ball, he wouldn't have. He had one more less thing. And if
one more less, basically?
One more less Super Bowl ring. And if they, suspended the guy for trying to cheat, he'd have another less one.
Another less. It's one less. It's not another less.
Drop.
You know what we got to do before we go? We got to. Apparently, the aliens don't do taxes.
Take me to your leader.
They don't need haircuts. They don't support small business, do the aliens? But they got this camera got pegged. Why does nobody slow down?
I think that one guy just drove by and said Tom Brady sucks.
Where do you get an outfit like that, dude? That's all I want to know. Passing skirballs. That's that Rey Mysterio. Oh my goodness. Aliens have officially joined us in East Palestine, Stream City, USA. That's going to do it for our show. Thank you guys for coming in. Peanut Butter. Thank you to our sponsors. Tomorrow, special show, the K-Squared Girls will be with us, and we will see you tomorrow right here on the YSN Power Hour. We'll ask you for Betos. We'll see you later.